Starting feedback programs is never easy. They take a lot of work, they take dedication. It isn't one department's responsibility to gather feedback, which typically is what happens. So when you're thinking about your feedback programs, think about I always think about three programs. I think about my customers, right? Gathering their feedback to validate the direction of the company, roadmap, product things, right? But also your employees. They're your other biggest asset. They spend the most time with your customers. They are experts in your product. And then make sure you do a product, voice of the product as well. And that ties in for customer, team, and product. That's how I always kind of put these together. So 5 things that I think you should, my recommendations from just experience and working with some teams is, first and foremost, number 1, if you're not going to do something with the data, don't do it. Don't waste the time of your employees. Don't waste the time of your customers. And just, the whole point of gathering the feedback is to drive change. So initiative from the top down to the bottom of the company, horizontally across. Make sure you are willing to actually share the insights, and especially around your employees. I think a lot of people don't have annual surveys. They do, but do it quarterly. But treat it like a 90-day initiative and help the organization, for your customers, your product, and your brand, tie that all together. All right. Number 2, put a cross-functional team together. Pick people across the whole organization. And again, think of this as the horizontal workflow. Most everything in the business runs left to right. You have your leads, you have your how you manage your opportunities. You hand people to the start of their onboarding. They go into their cycle of engagement. But then you have your vertical, right? Your vertical way that you run your business, from your leadership down to your team. And so make sure that you are cross-functionally building a team, and do it as a 90-day cycle. If you do EOS, make it one of your rocks. And make sure you cycle through people, because people burn out if again, it isn't the initiative just one department. This is the feedback that runs the organization. So make sure you do that, and make sure you bring in the finance team. I've had more finance teams be so excited about being part of an initiative, because it gets them it gets them understanding actually what's happening across the organization, and they can do better forecasting. And okay, number 3, man, oh man, I've made this mistake, because you get excited and you're like, man, we're gonna document everything. We're gonna dedicate a room in our office with everybody gets colored stickies, and we're gonna document the whole customer journey and the revenue journey and the product roadmap, whatever. Don't do that. Just start small. Start with the moments that actually matter, the moments that drive an experience or revenue or a process change. So I always look at kind of 3 steps or 3 areas that I start with, and then expand from there. And again, just, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you need to be committed. Number 1 rule: if you're not going to do something with the data, don't ask the questions. So, for example, I always look at the sales process. If you're winning deals or not winning deals, why? So ask that feedback from the team, from the customer, and the prospect, why you won it, but also why you lost. So if you can get that information, and hopefully you've built enough of a relationship in the sales process that you can ask those questions. Number 2, the onboarding experience, always so critical, because I think still 80% of non-renewal first year, typically you can tie back to a poor onboarding experience. So make sure you're asking questions during and at the end of the onboarding experience. Did we meet your outcome? Did we set the right expectations? Was your value met as quickly as we had set it up in sales? Okay, the next one would be, of course, renewals. Again, 3 kind of key ones. There's other places you want to be asking. If you're doing a ticketing system or support, do that too. But again, start small, but also tie in your employee onboarding. Ask those questions in that. And then your product launch, your product onboarding. If you're asking, in-app feedback, make sure that's tied into this whole experience that you're trying to gather for information. All right, number 4. Make sure you tie everything to a process, or best thing is going to be to tie it to some type of driver of revenue. so that one, everybody in the organization can tie it to how they can help drive change for that. Because again, the goal of a business is to be running profitably and healthfully, have a great product, have a great experience and culture, but you got to be running a healthy business. So make sure you tie things to revenue. If you are tracking information on deals won, deals lost, super great to change that and win more business. If you're retaining business on the back end, amazing for the profitability and long-term health of the organization, right? Okay, so tie that back. Number 5, lastly, again, kind of goes back to the first one, tell an honest, courageous story with the data. If you're gonna ask your employees for their feedback, do it every 90 days, make it part of the leadership company initiative, share the data. Ugly, good, bad, everything, and commit to making one change a quarter that comes from your team's feedback. Same with your customer, right? Commit to honestly owning up to the problems. If your product isn't as great as you think it is, if your customer workflow is full of friction and your CES scores are terrible, admit to that, but commit to the one change a quarter. Then you can show progress, you can thank your customers and your team, and you can make things better one step at a time. Again, you're not gonna win the war in the one battle. You've got to make little marginal gain steps to improve. And just lastly, again, just tell that story. Storytelling is a lost art. Have everyone in your organization be a brand ambassador for your organization in their area of expertise. Tell a better story. All right, I hope this video helps. Again, my name is Lee Roque. I help build amazing empowered teams that can tell better stories for their organizations. So thanks for your time. Love to hear your comments. Have a great day.